Unfortunately, it is not enough to simply encourage native vegetation. Now, we must also control invasive species, which are degrading our natural areas, reducing their value to wildlife and to humans.
Invasive species tend to be one of those issues that people feel they can't do anything about. But there are things that people can do, and those things have been proven effective.
The first thing is education on what to look for.
10 to 15 feet tall, you can grow in large clumps that blocks your view of the lake. It keeps the native plants and animals away from the area.
After education comes regular monitoring.
The early detection, rapid response strategy to identify it when it first becomes established on the site and then take some action to try to keep it from overrunning the site.
If you find invasives encroaching upon your property, get with your neighbors and formulate an action plan, like they did on Beaver Island when Invasive Phragmites was first discovered there.
The community really rallied around, we got the state involved, and we went after this to try to protect our shorelines.
Invasive Phragmites should be treated by a professional with herbicides that are safe for wetlands. Invasives like Phragmites are rarely planted intentionally, but there are many plants that reach new areas because we bring them there on purpose. Don't judge a book by its cover. Even plants labeled as earth-friendly can get out of control. For instance, Creeping Charlie, or moneywort, can spread rapidly in moist areas. Dry habitats are also at risk.
I bought this little tiny pot of this sedum because we were trying to get this rock garden started, and we were really surprised to see that it went from the front yard to the backyard, and we didn't do anything to bring it there.
It's not just what you plant, but what your neighbor plants that you need to watch out for.
He put it in because he thought it looked attractive, like a couple of clumps. Now it's taken over his entire property. That stream is completely choked with it, and it's encroached into my stream, and I don't know how to get rid of it.
The safest thing is to use plants that are native to your area. If you aren't sure where to get them, search on the internet the words native plants with your locality, and you will find vendors of native species that will control erosion, filter pollutants, and provide wildlife habitat.
The chokecherry is a super good example of that. It has a really beautiful flower. It produces a purple berry, which the birds just love.
Look for species that you know are adapted to your property's specific soil and climate conditions.
And see things in other parts of your property that move well, and take it from one part and put it in another part.
When we first moved here, I started out using plants that I bought. First thing I planted was some Pachysandra, and then I did some periwinkle. And then we decided that we really should start thinking about something more natural. So we're replacing those with some bearberry, and we found grasses in the woods that we've put in along our sidewalk.
Invasive species thrive on disturbed soil, so during construction, preserving the native seed bank is important.
Cover over the very top of the topography that you want to rebuild with the soil that you had excavated from the top. And all the life that's native to the surface would be put back in place. It won't look like it at first.
We have wildflowers that are just unbelievable, just by being very, very patient.
The native plants that grow there naturally will not require chemicals to thrive. Choosing plants and turfgrass that require chemicals to look good.
That's just inviting problems, and it's not necessary. Why waste your money?
But encouraging versus removing native vegetation takes a shift in cultural values.
I see a change happening. I got off, the regular path, like Robert Frost said. I came to the opening and there were two paths. I took the one less traveled, and it made all the difference.